Two new reports dispute that the statewide school performance scores are the proof that students are doing as well as the numbers seem to suggest. Southern Ed Desk reporter Sue Lincoln digs into the data.
Herb Bassett has a master's degree in mathematics and teaches high school in central Louisiana. Mercedes Schneider holds a doctorate in applied statistics and teaches high school in southeast Louisiana. Independently, each of them has written a report saying the high school scores are skewed because of problems with the formula the state used. Both say they could tell something was off when State Superintendent of Education John White released the 2012 school performance scores in October.
We have 163 schools that have achieved, out of nearly 1,300, that have achieved the designation of an A school, and we should be thrilled with that progress.
Logical score advantages or improvements, rather, from one year to the next, maybe 5 points, maybe 7 points, maybe 8 points. Here we had jumps of 10, 15, 20, 25. I analyzed each of the categories and 25 plus points, and overwhelmingly it was the high schools and the combination schools having these jumps in scores.
Dr. Schneider notes that Louisiana has 3 times as many elementary and middle schools as it has high schools and combination schools, so the distribution of higher scores should have followed that pattern.
I found that the high school combination schools outnumbered the elementary middle schools 7.5 to 1 as far as certain score jumps. The flags went up, and then I considered, okay, why would the high school combination schools be favored? What advantage is there for them?
Schneider and Bassett each say it tracks back to the changeover from the graduation exit exam, the GEE, to the EOC, or end-of-course tests for high school students.
The changeover of the tests was probably a poor guess on the part of the Department of Education. When they set up the system in 2010, they set up certain point values that they retained even though they knew that the scores were going to jump based on that.
The GEE is connected to the school grading scale. They changed to the EOC, which is a different metric, and they didn't calibrate the scores.
Schneider says that's like having a grading scale based on inches and then using a metric-based measuring tape.
If I'm 80 plus inches tall, I'm an A, and I'm not 80 plus inches tall. Then some other metric is used to measure me in inches, centimeters. I'm 153 centimeters. So if that grading scale doesn't change, and now I'm 153, well, that's above 80, and I didn't grow an inch.
Bassett puts it a different way.
And simply, it's like comparing football scores and basketball scores. When you generate these school performance scores, the end-of-course tests just simply generate higher numbers. So that was about 7.5 points worth of gain right there.
Bassett's report specifically analyzes just the high school scores. State Superintendent of Education John White explained in October how those scores were calculated.
And at the high school, you see that the rate is attributed to test score 70% and graduation index 30%.
Bassett says the 2012 scores also included a change in the way the state awarded points for high school graduation rates.
If you had a graduation rate above 80% in the past, then you got extra points put on. This year they changed the formula so that you would get extra points for having a graduation rate over 65%. Which tacked on an average of about 4.0 points to the scores.
Bassett says altogether the change in tests and graduation rate calculations resulted in the high school scores being skewed upward by an average of
11.6 points.
We asked the State Department of Education to respond to these data analyses, and Superintendent John White sent us the following statement. In 2010, Bessie passed policies to include graduation rates and test scores in calculating a school's letter grade. Schools rose to the challenge and excelled on the measures created in 2010. In 2012, Bessie established an even higher bar to take effect in 2013 by including rigorous measures such as the ACT and advanced placement scores in high school letter grades. Schools succeeded at the last mission. Now it is time for a more challenging mission. Bassett has also looked ahead to try to gauge the scoring changes for 2013.
The future scores, it looks to me, based on the new grading system that they're going to implement, that the K through 8 schools next year are likely to have a large jump of schools coming out of the F category into the D category.
Bassett says that's because bonus points will be awarded to schools with 10 or more students previously testing below grade level.
The bonus points will be based on the students exceeding their value-added model for that, which means they make a guess at how much that student should progress. If it exceeds that guess, then they become in the pool that's eligible for the bonus points.
Although the state is giving out bonus checks to the top gains schools all across Louisiana, it should be noted that school performance scores are calculated strictly by the state, according to the formula established by BESE, the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education. For the Southern Education Desk, I'm Sue Lincoln.
Now, the federal No Child Left Behind Act requires schools to have 100% of students on grade level and high school graduation rates of 80% or more by 2014.
The Southern Education Desk is a partnership among public radio and television stations across the Gulf South. We delve into a wide range of educational issues. For more information, we invite you to log on to southerneddesk.org.